Hey guys, it's TheFrXion here, Tank12, however you call me, I don't really care, and welcome back to World of Tanks. Today, we're gonna be making a video that is probably a bit controversial, a video that I think a lot of you guys will not enjoy, because today we're going to be talking about the M44 and one of the biggest issues of this game at tier 6, at least in my opinion. We're gonna get to this in just a second. Before we do that, we're going to be talking about several things now. The first thing, the Battle Pass. The Battle Pass system, in my opinion, is not bad. That especially everyone gets something. Even if you don't pay anything, you get rewards for playing the game. That's a good thing. The only problem that I see right here is Wargaming have about 5 or 6 months ago, they taken away the tank rewards program, which allowed you every single month to play the game, get points, and then unlock maybe a tier 6 premium tank, maybe sometimes even a tier 7 premium tank at the end of the month. And all you had to do was just play a game every single day. And basically, with 30 days, you'd get enough points to get that. Now, we haven't heard back from Tank Rewards since they took it away. They said they wanted to bring it back starting in the first quarter of 2021. I think they said something about that in January or February they wanted to bring back tank rewards. They haven't brought it back. It's not back yet. We haven't heard from tank rewards since. And I'm not really sure if we can trust Wargaming on that. I don't think that tank rewards is coming back anytime soon. So yeah, another thing that was really good, that was great for the free-to-play player or the entire player base, and they kind of cut it out. They have not informed us. They have absolutely kept silent on that topic, and they probably are not going to be doing anything with the tank reward system. Maybe they're going to be decreasing the output because tank rewards was really popular, and yeah, that's just one of the things I reported back on that. Back then, when tank rewards was taken out of the game, I did make a video about it, and I was very curious to see if they would bring it back. At the beginning of 2021, they haven't. I'm still going to give them at least 1 or 2 months until the second quarter of the year has started, because the first quarter actually is almost done now. So the second quarter is going to start soon. So I'm going to give them until May to see if they are going to bring back tank rewards. If they are not going to be bringing that back, I'm going to report back to you guys, and you can see what kind of company we're dealing with today. Then also, I'm going to be talking about another thing that really has been bugging me lately. I've seen on Armor Patrol, that is a news site or a site that shows you super test vehicles and the future of world tanks. They get leaks, they get information, and I'm really thankful that there's a site like that out there to give me a little bit of a head start or a view towards what the potential future of world tanks may look like. And the thing is that they're going to be bringing back the VK2801. What are you saying, Tiger Tank? This vehicle is already in the game. Well, the original version had a 105mm cannon, which is the same derp gun that the Panzer IV-H still has. This 105mm KV KL28 gun. That is not going to be the case on the VK2801. This vehicle does not have this gun any longer. The thing is that the new VK that is coming out is a premium tank. I'm not sure if it's at tier 6 or tier 5, probably at tier 6. And it's basically the same tank, but with the 105mm gun that they did abduct from the original VK2801. So yeah, that is a scummy move by Wargaming. It's something that they have done a couple of times now. We can take a look at my Panzer Kampfwagen 4S with the Schmalturm, which basically means narrow turret. And that is the turret that used to be on the tier 5 variant, but they took that out to rebalance it, and then they reintroduced this vehicle as a premium at tier 6. Now, I did get this vehicle out of the loot box, but still, it's a really good tank, and it's just a shame that they keep on doing this. They keep on taking out standard tanks and taking something away from it, stripping something off that made that tank so popular, and then reintroduce it as a premium where you have to buy it, and then usually it's a bit worse, so they can't be, so you can't really talk about, well, how they made it pay to win and that vehicle has been taken out. No, they want to, show, oh no, we're actually trying to rebalance it, so that it's fair. But if you want to play it like you used to play, usually, well, you have to buy it. So scummy move by Wargaming, absolutely scummy on like every single sector, every single front. I cannot understand that, and I cannot support that. So the next thing, the M44. This vehicle is a massive nuisance if you're playing tier 6. I've lately played a lot of tier 6 battles in the small tour because I really enjoyed it. And the thing is, this thing right here, if you have 3 of them, they completely ruin your experience in World of Tanks. The interesting part is that it's the only artillery piece that is still completely broken at tier 6. If we check up on the Hummel with its 15 centimeter gun, the rate of fire is 1.93, so almost 2 rounds per minute. We can obviously get that higher with the gun rammer. If we check on the French AIM-X 13F3, the rate of fire is 1.88, right? So it's basically on par. The FV304 obviously has a different kind of caliber, so we cannot really compare it. It has a much higher rate of fire, but it doesn't have the same damage output. And then we get to this M44, right? We get to this M44. Now, keep in mind, I do have commanders, brothers in arms. I do have equipment on it as well to give it a better rate of fire. And I do have this tank because of the campaigns, because of the campaign missions. I haven't played this vehicle in a long time. So the rate of fire on the M44 is actually 3.63. That's double the rate of fire that we have on the Hummel. That's double the rate of fire that we have on the AMX F3. So it's completely ridiculous that this tank has not been adjusted to be fit into tier 6 properly. You guys probably know all those players out there that have 10,000 games in the M44. There are players out there, if you look on Reddit, there are people that have, found other players who only play artillery and have 10,000 games in the M44. That just tells you so much about this vehicle, that it's so goddamn good at that tier. And it's just so annoying because if you have 3 of those M44s and they slap you around and all 3 of those vehicles target you, everyone is focus firing. It's the worst thing that can happen, even at tier 8. This is a tank at tier 6 that can absolutely ruin your day at tier 8 because of the stun feature, because it's so annoying. So that's why it needs to be changed. Now, I'm just here, to talk about the issues, and the M44 is one of the biggest issues at the tier 6 battle rating, because at tier 6, this thing just doesn't have a place. This thing, like, what I would like to do is to actually remove this thing completely from the game. But it's not going to happen. But they have to readjust those things, because I can push this even further. Let's take a look at the rate of fire if I really want to push this thing, right? I really want to push this thing right now. So now we have Coca-Cola, 3.8 rounds per minute. Let's see that we can also put on directives. There's no brothers in arms directive, but we can add another orderly ammo rack on top of that. Now we have almost 4 rounds per minute, and then we can also upgrade the standard equipment to a special equipment for 5,000, which I probably won't be doing because I'm not going to be spending 5,000 bonds for just that equipment. But we could do that, theoretically speaking, we could do that, and in the end we'd have, let's say, above 4.2 rounds per minute. So let's jump into a game and take a look at how a player who hasn't played artillery in a very long time can actually compete with this tank. But before we do that, we're going to switch the server because we're on the South American server for some odd reason, and I'm going to be switching over to the North American server. So bear with me 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, so before we begin the battle, you can see that we're playing on Ensk, and I decided to actually resort back to a replay because this was the first game I played, and because I thought it was going to be Ensk, I didn't start recording. I thought that, an artillery on such a small map with only 600 meters like length and width. I was not going to be spending any time on this kind of map, or I'm not going to be recording it because I probably don't think that I'm going to be able to do anything. The thing is, I was really wrong with that assumption, and you'll see what I mean. So I decided to go into the corner of A2 with the M44 because I think that the field is not a very safe option for me, especially if they have an AMX 1357. He only has to drive a little bit forwards and we would be getting spotted, and I know that at least if I was here in the city I'd be protected from, let's say, both sides. So the very first thing is I drive into that direction. Doesn't take very long, I do have equipment for that. Then we hit the SU-100Y, and yes, it doesn't take long. I do hit him once, I do stun him, he gets knocked out, and I do get 200 damage and 443 stun damage. But I'm already starting to fire again, I'm already ready to go, and I hit the next vehicle. It's an M44. He doesn't live very long, he wants to suicide, but he doesn't manage to kill himself just that quickly. So in basically about 30 seconds, I was able to already have a complete 888 damage total with assistance and with, you know, just hitting the tanks. This game is not going to be very long, and you'll see why, because it just, you know, the thing is, low tiers, at tier 6 and 7, tanks don't have massive amounts of HP, right? And especially on a map like Ensk, where the action is always, present, like where you're always in a combat situation, where you're always fighting. You know, it doesn't take very long. So we have this AMX 1357. That was the very first shot that we didn't really hit. I try again this time. It falls a bit short, but I am off good. Yeah, I'm in a good mood, let's say, because I know I'm going to be able to do the damage with this thing. I'm going to be able to hit this AMX 1357 because I only have a reload time of 15 seconds. So this time around, we hit him right in the face. We deal 136 damage and we manage to knock him out. The same thing is now going to be happening to the E25. We want to take out this E25. He's on 53 HP. We pop him, and I don't think that we even hit him, but it's a splash. And we do splash him for 53, and we manage to get the other kill. If you look at it, it's ridiculous that this tank, like my crew, only has brothers in arms and a bit of camouflage stuff. I have a bit of equipment on this vehicle with all the premium stuff, and the rate of fire is like 15 seconds. I deal about, yeah, let's say if I hit somebody, I deal on average about 250 damage, but still, I'm so far away, I still am able to hit him without a problem. Look at the gun arc of this thing. I have 60 degrees, 30 to the left, 30 to the right, and I can cover the entire map. It's completely ridiculous. Have you also checked the gun arc where you can actually, you know, the vertical gun arc where it allows you to swivel up and down? I'm actually able to shoot over certain obstacles, and right there I wanted to see how well I can actually aim over certain things, but it's possible. It's not impossible, and that's the thing. This tank is so completely broken. It's so completely broken in this game that it's ridiculous if you think about it. Look at that. Like all the damage that we can do right here. Obviously this is AT-15A. This thing has a lot of armor. He can withstand a lot of shots from artillery, definitely. But with my rate of fire, I don't care. I can just splash him. My teammate will take care of him right here. And I get 522 assistance damage in like 2 seconds. And in the end, we have done a massive 2,895 damage combined with the hits that we had and with the splash damage. And you just think that this is a map that doesn't favor artillery. This is a city map, right? There are a lot of places where you can hide, but the field obviously is still very open. But just look at the rate of fire, look at the accuracy, look at this tank. It is fast, it's not slow. You can run away if you want to. I have the equipment for additional, you know, horsepower. Like I get like 45 kilometers per hour top speed. That is on the level of maybe a slower medium tank, but still, that is completely broken. This tank is completely broken in this game. And it still is broken. It has been broken for years. And it still is broken after years of not playing this tank. I come back, I take a look at it, and it still is completely fucked. And that's just the way that wargaming have You know how they completely dealt everything in this game. It's still completely fucked. And you know, this is incredible because this M44, you know, like the other tier 6 artillery pieces like the AIM X13 F3, they're not as bad as this one. But this tank is so broken. That's why you always see M44s on the teams if you're playing tier 6 vehicles. And if you have 3 M44s on your enemy team or on your team, you can know that it's just going to be a huge arty fight. And in the end, it's not even that impossible that an artillery piece is going to be on top of damage. And that's something that Wargaming wanted to change, right? They wanted to change that. They said, no, artillery is supposed to be a supporting element to the game. Artillery is not supposed to be the damage-dealing part, but artillery at this tier, this thing has become the damage-dealing part, and it's completely broken, and it needs to be adjusted, and it needs to be fixed. Really, this is like... It's crazy that I'm still talking about artillery, the M44, in 2021. Like, what kind of a sick joke is this Wargaming? So yeah, that's all I have to say about the M44. This tank is completely fucking broken, and I cannot understand how it still is in this state as it is currently at the moment. Now, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Maybe some of you guys like to play the M44, and to be fair, I can't even, like, I can't even, you know, judge you guys, or I can't even fault you, because obviously the game has intended the tank to be like that, so people are going to be playing this tank. I've seen people who have 20,000 games in the M44. 20,000 games in the M44. Imagine that. He's sitting there all day smacking people in the face with that thing, and well, it's Wargaming's fault. They have put this tank into that position. They have made it this great. And obviously people will be using it like that, so why should they stop using it because it's part of the game? Why should they play it? But I just think it's ridiculous. This tank is ridiculous on every single level. It can compete at tier 8, at tier 7. Imagine that. Now, imagine going up in a tier 5 or a tier 4 vehicle and you're going to be facing this thing. Well, have fun. You're going to get penned and everything. Yeah. So, I hope you guys did enjoy. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, have a good one.